I can't hear you, Brian. I can hear you from the other room, but that's about it. There you go. Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us for today's episode of Blockchain Whales. Today we have Elijah back from Non-Fungible Arcade and a well-respected peer in the NFT community, and we're going to be talking about utilities in the NFT world. If this is your first time tuning in, I'm Steve Trang, sales trader. Every month we help hundreds of people buy more houses at deeper margins. If you want more information about that, DM me the word sales on Instagram. And I am on a mission to create 100 millionaires, and the information on this podcast alone is enough to help you become a millionaire. If you'll take consistent action, I assure you, you will become one. And the show is brought to you by blockchainwhales.com. If you get value today, please tag a friend, share this episode right now. That way we can all grow together. And we are live on Twitter Spaces and YouTube. So ask your questions. We're going to be accepting questions from YouTube and Spaces. But if you want to see us, you got to go to blockchainwhales.com. Ready?
Let's do it.
All right, cool. So we're talking about the NFT and utilities, but you were mentioning before, and maybe we're going a little too aggressive, right? Jumping into that first. So let's just talk about NFTs a little bit, because I think some of my audience coming from the real estate world may not be as familiar of why NFTs.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting space, and if you look at how it's developed over the last 12 months specifically, it's been really interesting as you've had people come in. It started with, I think a year ago, you got in with VeeFriends, right? That's how you heard.
I got started looking at VeeFriends, which apparently was in May. I can't believe it's been that long.
Yeah.
I got started looking at VeeFriends, but I did not pull the trigger because I thought it was ridiculous and didn't really start until January of this year.
Yeah, so that's a mistake that I made too, is slept on Gary Vee, because I just didn't see the correlation between him and the NFT space. But
I was one of those guys like, why am I buying a picture?
Right? Yeah,
I was one of those guys.
You're right click save,
Yeah.
hashtag right click save gang.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's a super valid point if you're unfamiliar with the space. And I think, him coming into the space, it was interesting, right? Because he's had a track record of all of these different successful things and kind of being ahead of the trend, starting with Wine Library and social media, et cetera. So well played. I didn't see his audience adapting so quickly, but if you look back a year ago, that's a banger of a lineup. You said to be right place, right time. You had VeeFriends, which would have done pretty well for you. What did they mint for? Do you remember? Was it?
I think I was looking at maybe $1,800 at the time, which was, again, a big mistake.
Yeah. So it's $1,800, and I think the floor is somewhere around 10 ETH, so $30K right now. So even if you miss the all-time high or what have you, at least 2x, or not 2x,
10x.
Yeah, 10x.
Yeah.
Same thing in NFTs, right? But it's that's there. You had CryptoPunks that really blew up last year, and I think that was through Gary, right? Because he was looking at historic stuff.
Yeah, he was the one that was pushing it allegedly, right? He called Mr. Beast and Logan Paul and whatever. It's like, guys, you gotta buy this right now.
Really? Okay. Yeah. And then you had apes, and then the rest was kind of history. And you and I were talking about apes a little bit before this, and it's interesting. You see the community, and you talk about NFTs and utility. If nothing else, it is a community, and it offers a space to network and things like that. But man, imagine minting an ape or 20 for $200 a year ago, and
well, even before then, I was looking at this way before Neotokia. I was looking at apes, and I was like, I don't understand this thing, right? But I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at the utility. I was like, you get access to a yacht club. I'm not a yacht guy, right? It's the Bored Ape Yacht Club, but I don't give a crap about yachts. So this is a horrible utility for me.
Yeah. You're like, where's the yacht club? Is it the Bahamas? Because is it close by? Is it San Diego? Because then we'll have a discussion.
Yeah,
only to find out it's just you're just getting a picture of a monkey.
Yeah,
but it worked out for the people that got in. Man.
Yeah, I mean it's the second major mistake of my NFTs. Yeah.
I'm with you. 0-2 on VeeFriends in Bored Ape Yacht Club, but I think that when you talk about NFTs for your audience listening, I think it's proof of ownership. So, you and I could go out and rent a Lamborghini or Ferrari today, and then take obnoxious pictures in front of it, post on Instagram, and be like, "Oh, it's my new car." Mm-hmm. And then people were misled to believe we own that car, and then they're purchasing courses from us or something.
So there's some influencers, right, in the real estate guru space.
Yeah.
Where like someone actually tracked down like here's the Lambo he took a picture of.
Yeah.
And like they were able to find like the plate or the information. Like, by the way, here is where he rented this Lambo from. Like they went and dove deep.
Was it a big thing? Like,
I mean, everyone kind of knew this guy was a little fraudulent, so like no one was shocked. It was like I guess if you looked up to the guy, you'd be disappointed, but like most of the people were like, this guy's not serious.
So it's like the equivalent if we saw a post on Twitter that was like Bored Ape Yacht Club's minting. We're like, you ain't gonna get me with that.
No,
but,
not right now.
Okay, right. So yeah, I think that it's proof of ownership, right? So you can prove that you own something on the blockchain. It's like a digital receipt that the entire world can see. And it is if nothing else, at the very least, your access to a network of people that maybe otherwise you wouldn't have access to. And that could be all over the world, based on where owners are at and things like that. I know with Neo Tokyo, we have people all over the world, right, and full of different trades and skills that they do. So it's super beneficial. But at the very beginning, the very basic level, it's NFTs allow you to have proof of ownership of something. And
so there's a couple of different applications. The one of them is the profile pic, right? Which for me, I guess I don't see as much value in. Yeah. But there's the profile pic. There's the utility. What are some other applications?
Yeah. So like I said, I think that outside of profile picture, as it's kind of advanced, from there, it's become like alpha groups, right? So you have, there's a variety of them, but like NFT Llama is a good one. Gajir is another one that, you're getting access to, again, this group, this network. So start with profile picture. It's your way of wearing something that says, hey, I'm a part of this, right? So it's just a community. I'm a member, Ubra. And then from there, it's like, hey, let's give this. I think, people scratch their head and ask the question you just asked. Hey, what is the purpose of this profile picture? And it kind of evolved to, all right. Right. Well, NFT Llama would have said, "Hey, let's do something as an alpha group. We've done pretty good with this. I think that people would want to be a part of it, and it's a lucrative opportunity to learn from us." So now your profile picture is a access pass to this exclusive group that you have alpha to, and alpha meaning that you have about the opportunities, what's going to blow up next, how are you going to make some money here and there. So you go from there, and then I think it's kind of evolving. Our friends RPH and Zan, they're doing Steady Stack, right? Which is like it's like an alpha community, but it's very similar to Neo Tokyo in the sense that you have a group of people that are working together and building and things like that. But they're using SaaS as kind of their point of entry into the market, right? So combining NFTs with SaaS and software as a service, and there's going to be a variety of different ways to do that. But they have an algo bot, right? So for trading, and a lot of things that they're doing over there, they're super cool.
So alpha groups, the profile pic, and then so the utility. I guess you can make the argument then that the alpha group is part of the utility, or is that something you would say is different? Yeah,
I would argue that that's kind of the very basic level, right? So that membership, you can use Yacht Club as an example. If you have a boat, you're part of a yacht club. If you have a Ferrari and you're part of an exotic car club, you get access to that network through that. So the profile picture is the vehicle instead of the vehicle or the boat.
I think that's a really good example because I'm trying to get into exotic car club. They're like, "What's your exotic car?" I was like, "I don't have an exotic car."
Yeah, no, I mean it's it's funny, man, because you look at things like F8 Tributo, which is a Ferrari, and now a Bored Ape Yacht Club. Ironically, they're around the same price, more or take. I think the Bored Ape Yacht Club being a little bit more, but again, it's a profile picture. So the benefit is if we did exotic, if we both had exotics and we pulled up, we're limited to the time and the place. So we can drive to Scottsdale, we can drive to San Diego or areas close by, but it's again the time and the place, and then it's also limited audience. So does that mean that it's not going to be as beneficial? No, but it's just versus wearing a profile picture, we're able to instantly network with people all over the world. So.
Right, and I think like the value you get. I mean, I think if you're in an exotic car club, it's just like being in a philanthropy group, whatever. You're just surrounded by people that are doing well, and you guys may have some common interests, but it's predominantly centered around, you know, either philanthropy or car or whatever. There's some other things you talk about that you may have in common, but like it's kind of centered around that.
Yeah.
But we're talking about this. We're talking about alpha groups. If this is something that they're really focused on, then we're looking at how to get the next the advantage on the next project.
Yeah, next big thing, what's coming, like where's the market shifting, right? So watching it shift from profile pictures to alpha groups to, you know, now we're looking at utility, having access to gaming groups, you know, SaaS and things like that, where, you know, NFTs will actually have utility that will prove ownership of things that will be of value. So for example, you know, let's say that you have a course, you teach people, you know, how to do well in real estate. Well, let's say supposedly someone buys that from you for, I don't know, 10K, right? If they do that, they have it, and then they just kind of move forwards, right? So I've paid, you know, I've paid multiple people to, you know, have as mentors, right?
Yeah.
Over six figures, and not something where I've learned from them, but with that, you know, it's kind of one and done versus if it was an NFT more or less, where I had access to, you know, that mentor's Discord, and, you know, this is an NFT that acted as a key. Well, after I'm done, I can essentially put it up for sale. And if it's a limited quantity, it might be going for more than I paid for it. Let's say I paid 10K, it might be going for 20. And then you're getting royalties, and I'm able to flip that and reinvest it in the business. Or maybe you have a higher mastermind that I'm able to invest into. So it's a win-win.
You know, something that I thought about that was actually my plan for my first NFT project. And then I kind of shared this idea, and I mostly got people were like, "You're crazy." But I was thinking about this, right? Like if I sell, you know, let's say 100 courses, like right now I sell my live events as $3,000 a head, right? If I sell 100 of these, right, I get 100 times 3,000. I'm doing pretty good, right? Yeah. But the next time when that other person sells it, the most I think I can be is like 10% royalty.
Sure.
So like it's kind of like we'll suck all that cash, but then it's like a one-time event, and like there'll be some residual down the road, but it won't be recurring revenue. And that was like, for me, I was trying to get my head around that. It's like, okay, well, I'll do well this year, but in 2 or 3 years, there won't be anything else left to collect revenue from besides the recurring component.
Yeah, I think that's what forces businesses to expand when you look at adding NFTs to existing, you know, Web 2 businesses. Let's take Epic Games, for example. You got Fortnite, right? If you were able to buy skins and then trade them when you're done, let's say I bought a Spider-Man skin, and now I want to trade in and get, you know, Captain America or something like that. Well, I'm paying Epic Games every single time I want to buy a skin. I don't have the option to, there isn't like a resale market for that as like an NFT, versus where if you had one, I'd be able to resell, right, and then put that money into it, or maybe I collect a bunch because I know that they're limited. But you know, the point I'm making is coming back to it is, you know, the opportunity is there for, again, if let's say that I purchased for 10 and, you know, I'm able to sell it for more than I paid, and I'm growing with you, I'm interested. This is the, you know, the beginner level, and now I'm like, all right, well, what's next? How do I get into?
You can grow with me.
Yeah. And then you introduce new courses, and really have opportunities to, again, it's a win-win. People help, and then those residuals are kind of stacking, adding up that you can put towards, you know, future, you know, courses, team. I mean, you got an awesome team here, right?
I got an incredible team right here.
Yeah.
So I'm going to an event, and I think this kind of wrapped my head, or kind of messed with my head a little bit, but it's eye-opening. So there's an event. It's coming up next week. It's held by Wolf Den, which is a crypto staking community. And like they've had 2 events. And so you had to buy the token, right, the NFT, to attend the first event, right? And then you can't attend the second event unless you actually hold the first event's token.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
I said, okay, so now I'm going to the third one, and I want to go, and I was able to, like, it was sold out, so I was able to put in some phone calls and got access to the third one, right? And the third one, I think, is like an ETH now for the third event to attend.
Okay.
But I also have to buy the second event's NFT, and then I'm paying 0.4 ETH to borrow from the first one. So the first one they bought like for 0.7 ETH, and I'm borrowing their first event's token for 0.7 ETH or 0.4 ETH.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I think that's maybe, a little carried away. I know, Be Friends with that NFT, you have access to VCon for the next 3 years, and there's different ways to structure where maybe it doesn't feel so gimme. But I don't know their models.
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not arguing it's right or wrong. It was just interesting because I'm trying to figure out like how can I expand my existing successful businesses into this world, because we're going from Web 2 to Web 3, and this is a was it Wild Wild West? Like we were all going west, and we don't know what we're going to encounter. We don't know if there's some people that don't want us going that way that may be upset. There might be a situation where we're going to have to eat each other, like, was it Donners?
No, I think that gaming is always my favorite example. I have non-fungible arcade, and there's things that we believe in that empower people that, are kind of maybe looked down on from companies like Epic Games. I mean, if you have the ability to sell 100 skins and it's just profit versus allowing people to trade them, they're why would I?
Yeah, and I think it makes, like, what's interesting, I think Curry was the first one to do this, Stephen Curry, was that, he had the shoes, and then he had the shoes in real life, and he had the shoes online, right? And you can wear those shoes, and then you can sell those shoes. I don't know who's going to buy the Curry NFT shoes later on, but you could.
Yeah. So Colton Rain is a company that did that. I purchased the shoes. If you go check out Colton Rain, they're a high fashion company that I purchased the NFT. I got the shoes as a picture, and I still own it. And you're able to claim the actual shoes. So they have a factory in the south of Italy, I think it is, and it's like real high end stuff. And I'm really excited. But that NFT, by owning that, I get this pair of shoes, and then I still own the one online. And that is just like we were saying about crypto staking. That's my access to get their next mint, which is this kind of cool bomber jacket. So there's people doing different things. I think that's
kind of like with Elio, right? Like you did it. If you have an Elio trades or if you have a super farm, you get whitelisted for other future projects.
Yeah. For imposters is one that he's doing. That's really exciting right now. I think UFOs they're coming, right?
Monday. So I think it was supposed to be today, right? So Friday, April 29th, supposed to be today. And then there's this whole thing with Bored Ape going on.
Yeah.
That's kind of making some interesting impacts in their community. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
So I read very little bit about it, but basically 100,000 tokens or pieces of land.
Yeah.
Which New Tokyo Citizen, right? It's 2,000, which is kind of on the lower side. I think Proof Collective, whatever, was like 1,000.
Yep. Those limited groups.
Yeah. So you get to like 10,000, which seems to be like the most common number today. It's like a huge number. Like, can you get 10,000 people committed to this vision? Now they got it was like 100,000 pieces of land, or they're tokens, but more or less, right?
Yeah. I think it's really interesting because right now my numbers might be off a little bit, but I think there's about 2.5 million NFT wallets, and out of the how many billions of people in the world. And granted, not everyone's gonna get into the NFT market and be like, hey, this is it. Let me mint some Bored Ape Yacht Club land. But I think that you bring up a good point. Like taking 10,000 supply and moving a project forwards, you really have to differentiate yourselves. And I think that they've proven that. I'm a really big fan of Yuga. They give, then we think they're done. They give again. So let me explain that for your audience that may not understand NFTs. So a year ago, you could have minted, and that means purchased a picture online of a Bored Ape, which is more or less a picture of a monkey, and it's $200. Well, after that, the floor has gone up drastically, but you got airdropped a kennel, which is a dog for your ape. You got airdropped a mutant serum, which is helps your ape. Now you have another one. Basically, it's a mutant version of your ape now. And then some people got airdropped M3 serum, which is the most rare one, and those have sold for multiple millions of dollars that they just gave their holders for free. And then you got this ape coin, which people got anywhere between 18K. I had a buddy that sold half of it right away, that he received from one of his apes for 50K. So I've got friends that have made millions just off of selling that token. They still have it now. They're able to use it for the land. So I think really what they've done is position themselves as the blue chip, meaning they are the NFT project.
They're the gold standard.
Yeah, everyone's paying attention to. You got Jimmy Fallon and Steph Curry. Speaking of Steph Curry, he's one of the first celebrities I know that last year, I think last fall, he was wearing an ape as his profile picture before. People are like, what is this? But I think it's interesting. Get 100. I think maybe it's 100K supply. To be honest, I haven't looked into it.
Yeah, I think it's 100,000. And like, if you are an ape owner, then you get 30,000. I don't know how they distribute it, but like 30,000 were distributed to all the owners, and then the other 70,000 is up for sale, and you got to buy it with ape coins.
Yeah, so if you have an ape or a mutant, you get a land parcel for free, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So they get one for free. So that's cool. And then it's 305 ape coin for per land parcel, I heard, and that's about 2.4 ETH. Yeah. From when I last
I'm not sure what the math works out to be, but what I do know,
1.5 billion is. I think that's the calculation. They sold all the land. I don't know.
Yeah. It's what I do know is I've got 3 imposters that I staked.
Yep.
And I just, every few days, it's just like, all right, what's the floor at today? Just kind of monitoring it.
Yeah.
And I saw they're still around 2, but there was one that sold for 1 ETH. I was like, what the heck is going on right now?
An imposter sold for 1 ETH?
Yeah. I was like, what the heck is going on right now? And then I looked, and then basically there are a lot of people that are really frustrated that the ape land thing is just really sucking the liquidity out of the whole NFT space.
Yeah, you see project owners of Azuki and Doodle, all these NFTs that are, they've done really well for the community. They've at least, and what I mean by that is you've seen at least a 15, 20x from the purchase price for, from mint to where it's at now. So these project holders are kind of showing on, you'll see them every now and then on Twitter. And, I love the art on Doodles. I love the art on Azuki. And I think that for the most part, it's really cool what they're doing. But you'll see people like, hey, are we still around? Because like it seems like everyone's we talked about it. When you go on Twitter, everyone's so focused on Bored Ape. But that's the beauty of being a part of something like Neo Tokyo or Steady Stack or what we're doing at Non-Fungible Arcade. What we're talking about maybe doing is it focuses on, okay, what can I do in the market, and that's great, but what else is there? And that's where the utility that again we're looking to offer at Non-Fungible Arcade, for example, is a place where gamers, builders can come and you can play, you can earn, you can learn, you can teach, you can grow. In Neo Tokyo, I met a lot of people that I am able to work with and build projects such as Non-Fungible Arcade today. Well, what can I do? Well, I want to give back, right? I want to do almost like replicate it in a sense, but in a more niche down way where, we're really focused on driving our mission forwards with crypto gaming, which is like making, it easily accessible, like getting in, being a part of it, but also creating this ecosystem where, let's say you're a developer, let's say you have a great idea, let's say you have money that you want to invest, but you don't really know how to get around. Well, you can come into Non-Fungible Arcade Discord, which we need to get you in, by the way. Yeah. But you can come in there, you can network with people. We have an About Me section, we have a gamer section, we have a builders chat, and it's like just getting going. You can see someone that's trying to do something, and then 2 people link, and their entire lives change, and then the ripple out from there is something that I get really excited about.
Furkan on YouTube makes a good point here. Like, so with Bored Apes sucking all the liquidity out of the market, is now a good time to buy some of the other projects you had your eye on that now that everyone's kind of focusing over here with the new land?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that people are predicting 2 things to happen. It's always really hard to predict what's going to happen in NFTs. Moonbirds went from 2.5 ETH to 40 ETH in a handful of days, which is unheard of. And people thought the highest was going to go to 8 and then settle around 5. So to circle back, I think that people are assuming that apes, mutants, anything in the ecosystem is going to kind of slightly take a dip, right? Because people are going to be cool, got the land, like let me sell my land, let me sell my ape, let me take this and put it somewhere else. So a lot of times you'll see that, right? And then people will stick their money into other projects that they're interested in. Look at top ones, Azuki, CloneX, Doodles and things like that. So Do I think now is a good time? I don't like to particularly say yes or no, but I think that to make a point, to kind of answer on that question, I think that people will, after the land sale, I think a lot of people will have capital that they'll be looking to stick into projects that they think will perform well. And like I said, that's the kind of tried and true ones that, like I said, Azuki's done really well for its members, has a lot of hype, has a loyal community. Doodles is the same, and CloneX is the same. This is really common themes. Moonbird is the same. These communities that just get so behind this project, they believe in it. It's very cult-like, and I don't like to use that in like a way that's negative, but I like to use it in a way of just describing the behavior. People get extremely invested in it. They get extremely bullish on it. They're behind it. They support it through and through, and they really they resonate with parts of it.
I've noticed that most Discords, everyone's bullish inside that Discord.
Yeah. You're it's funny how that works.
Yeah, there's a lot of positive reinforcements.
I know we got everyone on Twitter Spaces. If you guys have questions or if you want to come up, please request. And also, we're doing YouTube too, right?
We're on YouTube, so blockchainwhales.com. You'll find this video, and then on audio, or if you're on Twitter, right, just make sure you check out the Twitter Spaces. Well, I'm talking to you, so you guys are obviously on there. But for those of you guys on Twitter Spaces, raise your hand, and Elijah will pull you up. And by the way, Ian on YouTube says hello. So,
hello, man.
So we were talking about moonbirds. So we were kind of chatting, last week or so, and we're like frustrated, like, how did we miss this, And then he sent me a text over the weekend. 2 ugly things.
Yeah.
That sold pretty well.
Yeah. I'm gonna pull it up for the camera. Let's see this. Where's the camera? Right, this one? Yeah. So these two moonbirds, they sold. So these two NFTs were bought for 2.5 each. So about $7,400.
You want back up to the mic?
Oh. Yeah, so these two NFTs were bought for 2.5 ETH, or $7,400 each a week ago. Today, meaning a week later, they both sold for $1 million each. So that's NFTs.
Is that the same guy that bought both of them, or are these like 2 different people, like having a pissing contest? Like what?
Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy, though. So that's NFT. So that's a part of the utility.
Right, it is part of the utility.
Make a bunch of money.
Well, so like as we're diving deep into this, like I said, right, I was frustrated that how did we miss out on this? But then it turns out I think Kevin Rose is one of the guys, and these are people that have done really well in the Web2 space.
Yeah. Yep.
And they're taking what they've done really well in the Web2 space into the Web3 space, which obviously a lot of people are trying to do this. I guess not everyone. So there's a lot of people that are having newfound wealth in the Web3 space. Mm-hmm. And I think the Web2 guys are looking at it like, holy cow.
Yeah.
That's an opportunity I need to get over here as quickly as possible. And that's, one of the reasons why I jumped into New Tokyo is one of the reasons why we connected.
Yeah.
And so I think, they're figuring this out, and they created a private community of 1,000 people.
Yeah.
Which was a smart first step. Again, they didn't go big.
Yeah.
1,000. 1,000's pretty good size, but it's not 10,000.
Yeah.
Right. And then they launched this other thing for everyone. It's kind of like, hey, if you weren't in this other 1,000, maybe you can be a part of this 10,000.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's interesting. And, that's why I've told, my girlfriend, I've told friends, I've told, family without trying to sound like a lunatic. Because, if you go to Thanksgiving dinner and you're like, hey, check it out. One of my buddies bought 5 of these pictures of monkeys. He sold them, and now he's a millionaire. Yeah, they're like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, what the heck are you talking about? So, you have to like kind of be graceful about how you do the introduction. But
yes, you do.
Yeah, it's
you're completely wrapping everyone's like brain, like you're frying their brain. I mean, there's a couple of times where I was like, hey, I'm gonna start exploring this whole world. I'm gonna get into this. I'm gonna get deep in this because I think this is the future. And here's why. And I start talking about it, and they're like, what the hell
what are you talking
did you just say to me?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's something we have in common is when we see an opportunity, I think we think it's, it's best to dive in and figure out what's going on instead of trying to figure out maybe the logical reason. So like, listen, if these are doing this well, I want to find out, what's going on and why, instead of resisting. So that's one thing is I've tried to help people, and hopefully some of your audience listening to this, if you guys aren't familiar with NFTs, I'd highly advise that you look into it and follow Steve on Twitter if you don't already. You can follow myself, Dr. Jpeg, and we'd like to educate you, but it's what you said. I've been trying to preach is like we're early in the sense that we are here before big money comes in. If you've got people that are these well-established corporations that can move mountains in the Web2 space, which is hyper competitive, seeing a wide open blue sea of all these opportunities in Web3, and they already have billions of dollars and hundreds or maybe thousands of employees ready to just mobilize as long as their legal team lets them get away with it and do something. You're here now. You should legally and ethically make as much money as you can. And if you're passionate about something such as I am with gaming, you are with real estate, stake your claim, stick a flag in land, and we're here, and we're here to make a difference. And
so let's talk about with non-fungible arcade.
Yeah.
Right. So at some point you're launching the NFT project.
Yep.
Okay. So we're talking about utilities here.
Yep.
What would be the utility for the person that has that?
Yeah. So more or less to focus on the utility as a project is you'll have the opportunity to come into our ecosystem, and these NFTs will have utility themselves. I don't want to share everything because I want to keep some of the stuff a secret, and it's going to be really exciting. I think people are gonna flip. I'm biased, and I know none of this makes sense because I'm not sharing, but I will tell you one thing that we will be open about is what we're looking forward to is skins, weapons, extremely limited. People will be able to mint those, and you own them now. So think about it's
like Fortnite.
Yeah, I mean the first skins at the very beginning of the game. If people were able to own those and still have them to this day, they'd be worth, I'm sure, ridiculous amounts of money. You'd be able to sell them for, or just hang on to them for forever.
Well, I mean that's my brother. That's one of the ways he made money in college was that he would just go on quests to get equipment and then sell them on some stupid gaming thing with EverQuest or something.
Yeah.
And he made enough money to just kind of eat whatever he wants, like whenever.
Yeah, no, it's good.
So that's, and I'm asking this, right? Because like you look at like imposters.
Yeah.
You don't need a character to play the game, right?
I think that's what they're saying.
Right. So it's just interesting to see how everyone approaches this. Now, for me, I'm passionate about real estate.
Yeah.
Right. And so there's been like a lot of different ways of talking about like how you can utilize it. And my first instinct, like I said earlier, was like, well, I do well in real estate. I do well on the education side. Like, why don't I just kind of bridge that gap?
Yeah.
And I kind of shared that idea, and everyone's like, no one, this course thing is crazy. Like, stop talking about that. Just go, why would you try to take real estate, which is or if you try to approach the crypto community, why are you talking about real estate, which is so small as far as the education side?
Sure.
And just focus on real estate, which everyone cares about. It's like, okay, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
So they're like, what I would do if I were you is just make an NFT project and just buy apartments with it. It's like,
yeah. So you use the educational pieces. So, use, that's kind of like your marketing, but you're helping people. Mm-hmm. And then, the goal is that, they know you, like you, trust you through that free resource of you helping them get a better grasp of how real estate works. Maybe like, hey, maybe I'm not qualified to, step up and go buy like my first, 4-unit complex. But, this project that Steve's putting out in front of me really presents the opportunity to use that to build my funds and be in a Discord with you. That's valuable, man. Like,
right.
I think that there's a lot of people that would pay a lot of money to be able to chat with you, ask you questions, see specific areas inside a Discord that will outline different things where they can communicate with other people. Again, kind of going back to how we did in Non-Fungible Arcade. There's a builders chat, there's gamers chats, and I have new friends I can game with. I have people I can build with. I'm figuring out where they are. Maybe I met my new best friend and business partner off of that. And, the entry is, again, you could put a monetary number on it, but it's priceless if you're able to maximize that. So,
and I've been bearish, right, on blockchain and NFTs for a while, right? Obviously, And so like I posted yesterday on Instagram or the day before, like I was like, hey, join us. We're going to talk about utilities for NFTs.
Yeah.
And one of the guys was like, what happened? Like all you guys were talking trash about this, like not so long ago. I was like, my response was like, I was in denial. Like I just didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just didn't know. So let's jump into here. We got on Twitter. And you guys, if you guys are on Twitter Spaces, raise your hand and Dr. Jpeg will pull you up. So on Twitter, Crypto Tom is, what altcoins are you going to pick up during the bear market?
Yeah, what altcoins to pick up during the bear market? That's a great question. I'm not as much of a coin trader anymore, so I would look at places where you can follow good coin traders. I'm trying to even think of people off the top. I haven't followed them so long. Yeah, like Zach, XBT. Yeah, I would try and find the people that are doing it daily, because I don't do it daily. But I think that one is, again, to tell you what I did when I was trading is look at things that you enjoy. For me, it was entertainment. It was gaming coins, things like Veracity, things like Theta, Voyager, which was a marketplace. Look at things that are intriguing to you, and you'll enjoy it more. You'll understand it easier without relying on the opinion of others. And look for a low entry. If it's already, I've people that are like, oh, I'm going to get into SHIB. I'm like, all right, well, it's already like a multi-billion dollar market. So you put in, respectfully, you put in, $10,000 or even $100,000 into it. Hopefully it you make, $20K off of that $100K or something, like, but if you,
But it's already hit a lot of that growth.
Yeah.
That's kind of what you're saying.
Yep. So if you put it into something that's newer, it's more cutting edge, you feel that like, hey, I could see use case for this. Maybe it's just down on its luck a little bit right now, or the team's building or what have you. But it's still low market cap. And I would say anything between like, I don't know, up to 10 million. And the lowest I'd say is like maybe 800K to 1 million. Because if you put some liquidity in, you want to be able to pull your profits out. If you put 100K into a 800K pool, and then you want to pull out 200K, like, it's going to be, you're going to have a hard time with that. So
Yeah.
Look for those projects that are early, and make sure you do research. Don't just, it's gambling. If you're just like, hey, such and such told me that this is what I should buy in the dip, and such and such was using his exit liquidity, or God forbid, or something happened that didn't work out.
Well, what's interesting, there's so many ways, right, to make money in this space. You got, people that are buying and selling Bitcoin and Ethereum based off, like the ceiling and the floors, whatever. Like they just feel like this is like, that's like day trading in a way.
Yeah. Yep.
And you got people that are doing altcoins, and you got people doing NFTs.
Yep.
And then, recently we're somebody, we're doing, crypto staking. Like there's just so many different ways.
Yeah. That's why I think it's important to figure out what works for you.
Yeah.
Starting in coins, it was kind of, it was boring for me. I wasn't like waking up like every day, like, yes, I can't wait. But with NFTs, I really look forward to the community, chatting with people, seeing what people are up to, like what are we building, and slowly teasing that, and how we can help people. I think that's important.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Jose, Instagram is, can't you put a property into an NFT and have people own a share of that NFT?
Yeah. So that would be, what's that called? That would be like, they did this with the nouns, fractionalizing it. So, if you bought a property that was, let's say it cost you $2 million, and you wanted to fractionalize it, you could have 10,000 shares of it, and assuming that, it's going to go up in value. Everyone that bought in for that, they hold 10 of them, or they hold one of them, they would get a fraction of that. So they have a partial ownership, and as it's gone up, you would get part of that. So
yeah, what's interesting is going to be, we're trying to figure this part out, and this, like, we're early,
Yeah.
It's like, how does the tax deduction work?
Yeah.
How does raising the money work? Like, those are the two big things, right? Like, if you source an apartment, right, and then we made a project out of it, and we sold 10,000 tokens out of it, right? Like, does all 10,000 people get an equal percentage of the depreciation? Do they all get an equal percentage of the cash flow? And then on top of that, we're talking about raising funds.
Right.
There has to be a part where they're either accredited investor or talking about KYC, and then like how do we know this person's qualified to
Yeah.
take this? Like, there's this whole thing that we're so early in this, we don't have all the answers.
Yeah, I had a conversation with my lawyer on this for about probably like 2 hours a couple weeks back. I posted on Twitter. I know you saw that because you fill out an app, but I posted on Twitter that, you know, we're looking at taking on investors. I was like, hey, you know, cat's out the bag. We're growing. If you want to be a part of this. Well, apparently you're not. You're not able to do that. That's like solicitation.
Yeah.
She was like, you're in timeout. You can't take any money until 30 days after it's deleted, and you know you have to.
Oh, you asked for the money on Twitter.
Well, I said that we were going to be opening it up, and I put the application out there. So
Yeah. So I learned that yesterday. You can say we're looking at starting a fund. You just can't say I'm collecting money.
Yeah. So he was like, to play it safe, you got 30 days in timeout, more or less. But you know, I got educated on that whole process of, you know, with depending on where you fall, right, in that the accredited investor, you really have to dig into some paperwork and things like that. And then are you setting it up, you know, as a corporation, you know, where you're giving out those shares? And like you said, I think that it's interesting, but structuring that, it's worth looking at and doing and structuring it. You could do something quickly and just I shouldn't say quickly, but a way you can do it now that would make sense is do a DAO, right? Mm-hmm. So like you know, call it RED, right? So acronym Real Estate DAO, and someone gets a RED NFT card by being a part of that. And for each NFT card, each RED card you have, the more you have, the more vote you know that you have in terms of when it comes to, hey, you know, where should we get it? We're looking at this, we're looking at that. You know, you kind of have a say. Use that as your voting power to be a part of that. And again, a DAO is just a decentralized autonomous organization, meaning that everyone cooperatively works together to decide what's best for everyone. So,
yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Because that's kind of like we're talking about general partner, limited partner, and decentralized, or on a DAO, everyone's a general partner. It's gonna be interesting. So on YouTube, Janix wants to know when's Rat King coming on?
Yeah, when's Rat King coming up? So yeah, he's not here local, but it would be really cool to get him here. We are good friends, so I would love to have him come out here and hang out with us and chat. He's been crushing it. When we were in Miami at Miami NFT Week, he spoke on stage several times, and you know he has a massive following, and he's a really good guy. He's an artist as well, musician. So he did the Eli NFT in super limited amount, and then he's doing something for his holders. You're going to get access to more and more stuff. So again, kind of that whole yoga approach where if you're here in the beginning, it will continue to pay dividends. So I'm really bullish on him. Big fan. What he's doing.
Yep. I don't understand this question on Instagram, Jose. Do these NFTs share the same world, or are they separate? Can they line this line of ape and that other line of ape share in the same world? So please ask your question another way. I guess the question is, can they interact? I don't think the apes can interact, right? Like, I guess the ape land in the future, maybe they can interact, because there's no metaverse yet.
Yeah, not yet. So that's another thing that's really interesting is we're so early that people are spending a bunch of money on this digital real estate, but there's no use case or value of it. So, you know, not to be bearish, but to just be honest with your community and anyone listening is, I'm going to bet that, 90% of these projects that come out as metaverse, no matter how much money they have, unless they have like a proven track record, a good team, and are showing what they're doing, I don't know. It's gonna be rough because I think 90% of them will disappear. So.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that's limited to the metaverses either, right? I think it's also true with NFT projects. I think it's true with coins.
Yeah.
Right. Like most of the stuff out there is like, who thought this was a good idea? Why is this out?
Yeah. Take profits. If you're listening right now and you're up and you're euphoric, you're like, I can't believe I put $500 in and I got 50,000 sitting there in unrealized profits. Like, take profits.
I got a buddy, right? He got into the gods before like it went crazy.
Yeah.
He's got 3 of those. He's like, what should I do? I was like, take profit. He's like, but I've already made so much profit from the dust. I don't even need to take money. I was like, okay, well then you're in a really good situation.
Yeah. I mean, that's tough, right? Because I like to moderately play it safe. The rule of thumb that we've always preached at NFT Research Lab is buy 3, sell one, recoup your profits, sell one when it's looking like, you know, you're way up, and then hold one for a moon bag. So your friend that has 3, just depends on where dust is at, and everything with their ecosystem is, if it's at all-time high, hang in there. But as you see it start to dip, I would consider selling one and then scaling out. But
Yeah, he's way past collecting his profit or breaking even with the dust.
yeah.
So Russell Clark on YouTube, I don't know how much you feel comfortable speaking about this, but
What up, man?
what do you think of the new byte structure and how it'll be affected by locking up? Do you know much about that?
Yeah, so I have not taken a look at how everything is set up with that yet. I know friends of mine that are, you know, more up to speed on that. They're bullish on it, man. I think that, you know, it goes back to what we were talking about. You have people that have proven track records, Web 2 businesses that, you know how to you know, push a successful business. You know, I think that it's going to keep moving upwards, right? I think from where we're at now, you know, we're at the bottom, and we're building, and I know they're planning on doing a lot of good stuff. So I'm excited. I'm sure it's great.
Yep.
If it's not, we have a community that is outspoken that will continue to shape everything to be amazing. And then
I think outspoken is an understatement.
Yeah. And then when it comes time, you got 2,000 members, and you know, if you want to have access to that, you're gonna have to pay the Pied Piper. So.
Yeah, I think that's definitely true. On YouTube, Thomas is talking about, love that you mentioned VRA. So it's a multi-billion-dollar issue for tech companies in the ad space. I don't know what he's talking about. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, so VRA is essentially they have a patent that if you have, like, let's say you have your YouTube channel, Real Estate Disruptors and things like that, or Coca-Cola, for example, they have, you know, they're trying to advertise on people's channels. Well, people are able to they're able to buy views on their YouTube channels. So
Right.
if you were selling ad space, right, as a YouTube creator, Coca-Cola is paying, you know, you for those views. I think it's somewhere around, I don't know, it's like $30 billion is like lost on like fake views.
Oh yeah.
Annually. So, you know, you're able to have, I think it's proof. It's like POV maybe. It's like proof of viewers. So it's like, again, that transparency that the blockchain introduces. Veracity is they have a patent on something that's really allowing Coca-Cola to, you know, pad its pockets, because of course that's a problem.
Oh, got it. Preventing
No,
leakage.
it's cool. So,
Preventing leakage.
yeah.
So Janik says that he's heard that the SEC does not like fractionalize NFTs. So I would love to hear more about this. Wherever you're seeing that, Janix, if you could just tag me on Twitter with this information, I would love to hear more about that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's like, you know, it starts to get messy and complicated. So I'm sure that, you know, the SC likes to, you know, see things that they understand and are easy to get paid from. So it's one of those things, again, it's like what we were talking about. It gets a little messy in terms of who owes what, right? Because their number one concern is collecting.
Well, collecting and supposedly protecting the consumers.
Yeah.
So Ian Wong, Creepian. So what's up?
What up, man?
He's asking, do you think the Bored Ape land will bring more liquidity in the market and starve a bull run? I think it's the other way, but what do you think?
It's interesting because I would have agreed with you, but seeing the Bored Ape purchases lately, seeing how Moonbirds did, and seeing how much more attention the Bored Ape Yacht Club ecosystem has, I think it could potentially be a replica of what happened with Moonbirds. And what happened with Moonbirds is like, I mean, they did $300 million in a weekend, and people are like, "Where's this money coming from?" So it's people from outside the market coming in, and there's tools you can use, Whale Watcher, and there's like different Twitter alerts and stuff like that that'll tell you when people move money from wallet to wallet, and you can see big transactions, things like that. That might help. Try and put that together. But
You were saying like there might be some princes in the Middle East. They're just like,
we
hey,
talked about
whatever he's got, I want 10 of those.
Yeah, we talked about that. You know, I think that there's a lot of people with a lot of money in the world that have no clue what's going on. And you've got athletes and you know, celebrities starting to jump into this, and it's going to take one person, your favorite athlete, you know, your favorite celebrity, you see them wearing this and you're like, hey, what's that? I need to be a part of this.
Yeah, I was at the Suns game and someone was wearing a Bored Ape sweater. Right?
Yeah.
Like they're sitting courtside, right? Front of courtside.
Yeah.
You know, row A, and they got a Bored Ape sweater. It's like,
it's a flex, man. It's the same as wearing a Ferrari hat, you know, just hopefully either you're a connoisseur and a fan, or you own one.
isn't it enough to sit front row? You got to sit front row with the Bored Ape sweatshirt.
Oh yeah, yeah. Maybe they're single and you know they want the girls
peacocking.
Yeah, exactly.
You got anyone on Twitter Spaces that's got their hand raised while I bring this up?
I don't, but if you want to bring something up, I am dying. I have to use the restroom.
All right. We can wrap this in a few minutes. So we got Druid on YouTube saying Gator Gang roll call.
Gang.
And then the last question from the audience then from Ian on YouTube is any tips on how to make a project with zero capital?
Yeah, so tips on how to make a project with zero capital. Okay, well, first things first, you have to have an idea. I'm actually going to do a thread about this a little bit later today, but you know, you want to figure out what's a massive weak point or problem in a large marketplace, right? And then from there, you want to have like a big list, and then you want to narrow it down just by listening to people, right? So listen to the market. They'll tell you what they need. They'll tell you what's missing. Listen to experts who have gone before you. After this, I have a meeting with one of our advisors, and you know, you really need to rely on those because that's data. It's not your opinion. It's not, you know, your mom telling you that, you know, you're great at coloring. It's the market saying, hey, this is phenomenal, right? Yeah, I know. I had to bring it to that. But, you know, I would say from there, once you identify that singular trend, you need to start sharing your mission. You need to get people on board. You need to do everything you can to save every dollar you can to come up with an MVP, meaning a minimum viable product. And, you know, luckily for you, Ian, in the NFT market right now, you know, you have to have like, you know, maybe like a pitch deck and some art and a concept. Or if you go to A16Z, you can be pre-idea and they'll give you funds. But
yeah, I think probably the biggest thing is you have to have some sort of vision.
Yep.
But you have to provide so much value that they don't need anything else besides the value you bring, right? Like I think because the way the world works, you need money to make things happen. But if you can provide enough value, right, you can show someone the upside, you can show them the potential, or you can, you know, help them do something that they can't do without you. Yeah. Then you don't need the money, but you better be really good at connecting if you don't have capital.
Yeah, there's a lot of people with a lot of money that they're curious about the NFT market and they really want to participate in something and ride that wave of success. So you have to show them what, you know, they'd be missing out on if they don't participate with you and crush it. Rely on your network, your community. You know, ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. That could be in looking for developers, could be looking for artists, whatever you need. But you know, you're gonna do a better job if you have a solid group of people around you, supporting you and getting this off the ground. So
my last question for you for today, is: are you enjoying Elon Musk on Twitter as much as I am?
Yeah, you know, I think it's hilarious that he bought Twitter for $44 billion, and I think his maybe like second or third tweet after that, he's like, next I'm buying Coca-Cola and putting all the stuff back in it. And I thought that was super funny, and he's a character, but
he's an odd duck.
Yeah.
But you know, I didn't realize how much we were all in danger from free speech until like they told us in the last few weeks, right, watching the news. Yeah. How dangerous free speech is.
Yeah, YouTube, you know, whether you agree with his viewpoints or not, YouTube, Full Send podcast, those guys, they did an interview with Donald Trump to just talk to him, and it was you know, good lengthy podcast, and I think he spoke about one thing that, you know, YouTube had, you know, thought was not okay, and they took it down. So again, whether you agree with that or not, that's your personal opinion. And I think that that's okay, but we should be mature enough to understand that people have opinions different than ours, and that's okay to coexist with those things. So not turn it into a political conversation, but I really do think it's important to protect free speech and, allow people to voice their opinion and exercise that right. So
Yeah. Well, he was my hero before he bought Twitter, and now for sure, forever be my hero. Although I think for the left, there's that expression like, you're the hero long enough to become the villain.
yeah,
I think he's definitely become that on the left.
I think that for anyone that's used Rogaine, I think he's their hero as well, because if you look at pictures of him at PayPal to where he's at now, he's really yeah.
Not only is he a client, but he's also the president. Or not only is he the president, he's also a client.
Yeah.
Guys, if you guys got value today, please like, subscribe, share, comment. And also, if you can think of anyone that you think we should have on Blockchain Whales, comment, let us know, or, mention it on Twitter. Tag me, tag Dr. Jpeg, and, we'll have different perspectives and even continue to have more interesting conversations.
Yeah, it's a ton of fun. I think there's a lot of people in our circle that are doing a lot of big things. So talk to, bringing them on, but happy to do this. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you follow Steve on Twitter if you don't already. Follow me, Dr. Jpeg, on Twitter. Keep up with my project, Non-Fungible Arcade. Discord is closed, but we're dropping the invites here and there. So turn those notifications on. I'd be happy to help you guys get into that if you are, passionate about crypto gaming or a builder. And thanks for tuning in.
Very cool. See you guys later.